Welcome back to the Makers of MidCity Podcast. I'm your host, Clark Dunn. Super excited to have you both here today. Would you like to introduce yourself and we'll kind of get started?
I'm David Hale. I'm the general manager at Blue Oak BBQ.
And I'm Sebastian Fiala-Shays, better known as Chef Smooshy, the executive chef of Blue Oak BBQ.
Awesome. And so before we talk about the Blue Oak BBQ here at MidCity, I think it's important because y'all were both involved with Blue Oak in New Orleans kind of prior to coming here. So talk about your initial involvement, how you both got started with Blue Oak, and then kind of leading us up to the conversations of, hey, let's open a Blue Oak in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, so I started with Blue Oak in beginning of 2020. Great time to get involved in a restaurant and all of that. But actually, early February of 2020, so before COVID shut down and all that, started there as a shift lead and was a part of the process when we'd switched to go only, and getting through all of the kind of craziness of 2020, 2021. But yeah, have been involved since then.
Wow.
I'm kind of working as a shift lead up to front of house manager, kind of doing a little bit of everything down there.
Awesome. And talk a little bit about your kind of journey with Blue Oak.
I started about 3.5 years ago. I was just a regular schmuck, working the line, started on sandwich just like everyone else. And I came in really impassioned about creating good systems, creating a clean space. I saw the work that could be done in the restaurant. I wanted to create that in the kitchen, and just off that attitude alone and the work that I was doing with the team, they moved me up and they gave me that opportunity to implement a lot of those systems. And before you know it, they asked me to come up here and do this.
Yeah. And so talk a little bit about, from both of y'all's perspective, that move and transition here to Huntsville. Obviously, we're both not from Huntsville. So Huntsville was a new place for you to visit, to live, to do everything. Talk a little bit about kind of that opportunity and sort of that process from saying, hey, obviously we've had Cody on the podcast before talking about Blue Oak and her connection with it. But talk about a little bit about that transition for y'all.
It's definitely been a bit of a big transition. I'm from Alabama initially, but opposite end of the state, down south on the coast. But so kind of nice to get back, but different. But it's a very different city than New Orleans. But I had lived there for 8 or so years. And so kind of was looking to do something new, kind of go somewhere else, all of that. And all these stars happened to align just right to where they were talking about this new project up here in Huntsville. I'd visited Huntsville a couple of times. This is a super cool city. I have some friends and family here and in Birmingham. So it really was just like kind of a perfect series of coincidences that made this move, really able to happen.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about yours. Cause did you know anything about Huntsville? Had you nothing? So Huntsville was like, hey, I know you've been here at Blue Oak. You're from New Orleans. And by the way, would you like to move to Huntsville?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that transition for you and kind of, uprooting that and moving here.
It was bizarre. I mean, the first question was like, why?
You're like,
where's Huntsville? Where am I going? I was looking for any opportunity to go somewhere else. I'm a young man. I've been in New Orleans most of my life. I wanted to see something new, do something new, take on some serious responsibility, and they gave me that shot. I just went for it. I had no idea what I was walking into, and coming here, it's been a really cool experience. It was a little lonely at first, I'll say. I had no friends out here or whatever. But seeing this city, seeing how it's growing, seeing the cultures, the many different people that come here, it's super interesting.
Yeah,
really, truly.
Yeah, it's a cool place, and I think y'all both kind of got here. Seeing it as someone who's lived in Huntsville my entire life, that growth it's incredible to see, and it took a long time. But then you have this like window of 2020 to today that's just been full speed ahead.
Yeah.
But as far as MidCity, as far as Huntsville is concerned too, Blue Oak has been open here in Huntsville for a little over a year as we're recording this. Talk a little bit about that first year from both y'all's perspectives, from the food, the preparation, to new kitchen, new space, to the logistics behind opening a new restaurant in a new city.
definitely a learning experience.
Yeah.
Both of us have pretty extensive, histories in restaurants in the service industry, but I don't think either of us had actually been there for a opening, especially from like a management level where, we were the ones responsible for making everything happen.
Oh.
So a lot of kind of just figuring things out as we went. Some things worked, some things did not. And just kind of like any other restaurant, any other business, you got to kind of roll with the punches and figure things out and just kind of make decisions on the fly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as you, like, obviously you were familiar kind of with the cuisine at Blue Oak. You'd been there for a little bit, kind of that transition here to Huntsville. What was that like from your perspective, being in a new kitchen, kind of having that more responsibility that you were kind of looking for and kind of, hey, this is a little bit of your kitchen now.
Yeah. It was a really crazy change of pace. Super different perspective. I was very used to being mentored by people and working under people, and all of a sudden it was like, I'm that guy. People are looking at you for what? Yeah, 12-year-old Smoosh has got to, lead a kitchen. It was really shocking, super overwhelming. Because coming into it, I had my sous chef Merrick and this wonderful gentleman Raul had come down to New Orleans, got to train with us a little bit, but they only got like 2 months of training. So outside of that, once ownership left, I was the guy. And every day I was there open to close for quite a while, quite a few weeks. And every day, Smush, what's this? Smush, what's that? How do I do this? How do I do that? And it was super stressful. But with time, and a lot of work and presence, we've gotten to a point now where people know what's up.
Yeah.
They're handling the space. They're teaching each other. And it's all paid off.
Yeah.
Very satisfied with how we've kind of come along at this point.
Yeah. And so take us back to that opening day, that opening week. Maybe the expectations or the what you thought the city, MidCity, the community was going to think of Blue Oak, and did it meet that expectations? Do you think, did you have, like, what things from your perspective did you have to pivot a little bit to kind of adapt to the market that you are now in?
Well, a lot of it was, we're used to ordering quantities, pars, things like that from the New Orleans store, having both worked there. And so, doing some of our initial orders, like originally getting some products in, making products, producing it, we had no idea what to expect. And so we were just kind of using a lot of the numbers that we were used to from New Orleans. And that, as I'm sure you are aware, New Orleans and Huntsville have very different markets.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those were just off. We were way over on some things, way under on other things, just kind of not knowing what Huntsville would want out of a barbecue place.
Yeah, and I know you've done some things too from the cooking perspective of, hey, we may have ordered something too much, expecting it to do this, but it didn't perform. How do you kind of look at creating unique dishes from maybe things that are like early on, when you ordered too much and you're just trying to figure out what is Huntsville wanting? How can we kind of match that with what we are actually providing them, and then also you being creative and coming up with things that are unique?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the work that I'm doing and we're doing as a team in the kitchen at Blue Oak is waste reduction. We want to figure out if I have too much of a really good example from when we opened was brisket, right? I overshot the amount of brisket that we would need in general because I thought we were going to be busier. I had the wrong information, and so we're sitting on 20, 30, 40 pounds extra brisket at a time. So I had to take really creative approaches, like doing burn ends, as an appetizer, which are incredible. Yeah. Or we started doing the chili and added it to the menu, or taking any meat that we have extra. I make a bunch of soup. I make a bunch of, little appetizers, wontons or egg rolls, something like that, just to try and move that product and get it going. It doesn't always sell super well, but no matter what, 90% of the time we move through it. And that's the goal. That's the end goal, right? Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about from like some of those things that maybe you've tried, like you mentioned, like the burn ends and the other, but talk about maybe some of the things that didn't go as planned, as far as, hey, either this works really well in New Orleans, or we've never really done this before, but let's see if it works.
Yeah.
And you're really excited about this particular new dish, and it just does not perform to what you maybe expect.
So I think a lot of that is because we coordinate with New Orleans on a lot of our specials.
Yeah, and I think that's a unique thing because I mean, obviously we're not super far away, but to have that sort of parent restaurant relationship that you have, being able to then coordinate kind of the similar areas, like it's like you said the market's different. Like there's things that you do here that you don't do there, and vice versa.
Yeah,
but to still have that sort of communication as far as like what are the specials are going to be, that's super unique.
And one thing that we've kind of noticed is a lot of the kind of like not necessarily higher end, but a lot of the kind of upscale, kind of like elevated things that they try to do in New Orleans, just don't really. This isn't really the market for it. People aren't coming to us for like a new take on, some elevated sandwich dish or something. They want that. They want like a lot of food, and they want it to be great, but like they're not.
And you get a lot of food, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I think that is such an interesting, because I remember going there. I think I was there when y'all did the grand opening. I was invited, and it was a lot of fun to kind of like, we had the full platter, got to kind of try a little bit of everything, which was amazing. And then before concerts or before shows, we'll go there a lot. My wife loves the appetizer, the burnt ends. Like it's go-to every single time. Even if we know it's too much food and we're going to over order, we still always get them because they're incredible. Is there like looking at the menus and kind of like how you coordinate, is there something on the menu now or something on the menu on a regular basis that both of you, like it's a special, but you do it on a regular basis? And so if someone's listening to this, in a month or two or whatever it is, there's a potential that could be available, or like is your favorite?
Dude, the baked potato. We do it on Thursdays. It's off the chain.
Okay.
It's so good. And then obviously the red beans on Monday. I mean, that is great homage to New Orleans culture and sticking with where our roots are. It's a really good special. But the potato is
it.
It's bomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday
potatoes. If you're listening to this, no matter when you're listening to this,
Yeah.
go to Blue Oak on Thursday and have a potato. You heard it here first. So, I mean, I think what's unique too is that, beyond just being a restaurant here, having that connection with New Orleans and kind of, being able to create this unique barbecue restaurant here in Huntsville. Talk a little bit about how you differentiate maybe from others. Maybe if someone is listening and they haven't gone to Blue Oak, what can they expect, and how is it similar but different than maybe others in the region?
I know, looking at a lot of other restaurants, I've tried a lot of other barbecue here, and I've enjoyed a lot of it. I mean, there's really good food out here on that front. One of the biggest things I've noticed sets us apart is our special work. It's coming up with all these special dishes, all these new items, because I'm not seeing that at like Jim and Nick's and at Lawler's and stuff like that. They have more of a static menu, while we come out with all these like really bizarre, like
100%.
Yeah, some ham, apple, mustard sandwich,
Yeah.
I feel that really sets us apart. Beyond that, I mean, our brisket is bomb, and I really care about that work, and I feel that the food when I have it, I try it, I see it in the people that try it as well. Our brisket's off the chain, and I don't see a lot of brisket out here.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I mean, I think it is an interesting. I feel like from the presentation of the food at Blue Oak and kind of what you can experience, that is if you haven't been to the restaurant, I mean, you have this kind of this full exposure from the kitchen to this, so you can see that expressions that people are having and that enjoyment that they have in a dish, and also maybe when a dish hits really well that you're like, wow, I didn't expect that today, but maybe we should add that to the menu or do that on a more regular basis. But y'all do a lot of other things besides just, having the restaurant. You also do catering and holiday stuff. Talk a little bit about with that and kind of the need or the interest that kind of push y'all to kind of do more than just, hey, having a storefront, a restaurant here in MidCity.
One of the nice things about barbecue catering is that barbecue is super easy to kind of upscale as needed. We've got plenty of smokers. The difference between throwing one brisket on the smoker versus 10 briskets on the smoker, it's not a huge necessary like labor increase. And it's one of those things where like you go to a wedding, you go to a company lunch, and just about everybody is going to be excited to see barbecue there. You know,
for sure.
It's one of those things that like, yeah, man, you walk
no one's
in the break room, you see
no one's like
and mac and cheese.
Oh, you have barbecue today. It's like, no, everyone, especially in Huntsville area, everyone is like, it's a staple for sure.
Yeah. So we've been doing a lot of work with like the Chamber of Commerce here, and us being so close to the Arsenal Research Park. MidCity has kind of put us in a great spot to where a lot of these local businesses, local contractors on the base utilize us because we are close and we can get them a lot of food.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is, especially for some of these bigger organizations that have, they could have a party. If they sent this many invites out, but they could also have this many more people show up. Barbecue is a perfect fit because it kind of, you always order too much, but you always have the ability to. It's great leftover. It's a great. It's just all around. Like, I mean, I'm hungry just thinking about this. So as we're sitting at the end of 2025 and kind of as you've gone through that first year being open here in Huntsville, maybe what can people expect to see? What are you hoping to see from Blue Oak, from MidCity, and kind of that partnership that y'all have here?
I know that this year we've kind of been doing a lot to get our names out there. We've been doing a lot of like events, a lot of like competitions. We participated in a wing competition, Battle of the Buffalo.
Yep.
Over at the Trash Panda Stadium, they had a barbecue weekend, and we came in first place for the People's Choice pulled pork.
Awesome.
And so just kind of doing more things like that, really just kind of getting our name out there and showing Huntsville, showing Madison, showing, North Alabama, like what we are about, what we are, and kind of getting on their radars.
Yeah. And so as we kind of wrap up the conversation, is there anything, if you were to leave anybody with something about Blue Oak, it's maybe that person that's not been there, that's not tried the food, what would be the one thing that you'd want them to know? One thing that you would, hey, if you know anything about Blue Oak, you should know this.
I mean, I would say that the best thing to know about Blue Oak, and I've had this experience in both New Orleans and here, is that every person that works in that kitchen, every person that works in front, we really, really care about the food and the experience. And we're not always perfect. We can't be. We're human, But when I hear about a complaint or I hear a compliment, any bit of feedback, it's my commitment down the line to rectify it, do better, or just keep working on that quality and keep it going good, because it's a meticulous process. Barbecues, it's a work of love, and at least for me, I really care about the food. The owners in New Orleans really, really care about the food, and across the board, we want to make sure that everybody who comes through the door has an amazing experience,
Yeah. I mean, I think, for anyone that's not gone, I would highly suggest you do. We'll be sure to have links and everything in the episode notes, links to social media. I think the social media is also a great way to say, when the specials do come out, I mean, y'all do a fantastic job of capturing the special to make anybody interested that maybe had lunch plans somewhere else to think, maybe I should go there instead. And so we'll be sure to have links to social media, links to websites. They want to find out more information about kind of the catering or about, holiday things, depending on when you're listening to this, holiday options, Thanksgiving, Christmas, stuff like that, or even just, for your little party at your house, they can make it happen. But I appreciate you both being here. I really enjoyed it. I think, Blue Oak is one of my favorites. It's great to see y'all here, and I think the conversation and what Huntsville, what MidCity is going to look like in the next year or two is going to change a lot, which will allow y'all to kind of be more unique and try new things, and the market's ready for it. So I'm excited. I appreciate y'all taking the time.
Thank you.